Good day. My name is Simona Rabinovici-Cohen and I am from IBM Research Haifa in Israel. I will talk about predicting the outcome of breast treatment prior to its start. This study was done as part of the BigMedilytics EU project that aims to use big data technologies to improve patient outcomes and reduce healthcare costs. We did a retrospective study on a dataset of about 1,700 patients that received NAC treatment in Institut Curie in France between 2012 and 2018. In this treatment, chemo is given for 6 months, and after that comes the main treatment, which is surgery. In our dataset, all patients have clinical data, although there are some missing values, and about 500 patients have also MRI images taken prior to the treatment start. Today, clinicians have guidelines to decide whether to give NAC treatment based on cancer subtype, tumor size, and more parameters. However, about 10% of the treated patients will encounter relapse, namely the return of cancer in the same breast. Predicting future relapse prior to treatment start is important and may impact the treatment selection. But today the clinicians don't know who is likely to suffer relapse. In fact, they said that sometimes they see clinical twins, namely patients with the same clinical parameters, and yet one will have relapse while the other will not. Can AI predict relapse following NAC? Can we use medical imaging for outcome prediction, although clinicians don't use that? In this study, we try to answer these questions. The MRI model starts with preprocessing to reduce the irrelevant information and standardize the images. Our data consists of axial MRI volumes, which contain both sides of the breast. We first crop the image vertically to continue processing only the relevant side in which the tumor is located. Then we crop the image horizontally to remove the heart and other non-breast organs. Then we resize the images and rotate them so all face the same direction. Finally, we undersample slices when the DICOM tags indicate overlap between slices. This is the architecture for the deep learning MRI model. The input includes 3 slices, the significant slice and 1 slice before and after it. Each slice is fed into a 2D CNN where all 3 the CNNs have the same weights. To avoid overfitting, we use a CNN that is ResNet 18 with just 7 residual blocks. Then, the 3 outputs are aggregated and go through several layers that in the end generate 32 embedding features and a final output score. We consider 2 MRI models. One is MRI scores that produces the output score. The other is MRI embeddings that applies logistic regression on the 32 and score embedding features. On the right, you can see the raw curve for MRI embeddings achieving 0.71 AUC. In the clinical model, we use 26 clinical features, scaled them to the range of 0 to 1, replaced missing values with mean value, and applied 3 classifiers. Random forest was found to be the best classifier, and the found important features are age, BMI, Ki67, estrogen, progesterone, HER2. You can see the raw curve for the clinical model achieving 0.69 AUC. The Ensemble model combines the MRI and the clinical models. To improve generalization, we created 3 variations of each model, where each different variation started its train from a different initialization. The final score is the mean of all available scores. You can see the raw curve for the Ensemble model achieving 0.75 AUC. Here are the overall results for each modality alone and for the Ensemble model. As part of our evaluation, we performed a 5-fold cross-validation as well as tests on a holdout dataset of 100 patients. For both cross-validation and holdout test, we report AUC with confidence interval and specificity at 0.95 sensitivity point. To conclude, we demonstrated ability to predict relapse using each modality alone, but the multimodal ensemble model offers better results. To achieve that, we used best method per modality and largest possible training data. We tried options of the MRI model, namely MRI scores and MRI embeddings. The MRI embeddings plus clinical performed better, probably because it's more calibrated. Using MRI with deep learning is challenging. While we have one of the largest NAC cohort compared to prior art, it is still relatively small for deep learning. Also, MRI has no standardized protocol for scan acquisition and has high variance of image resolution, voxel size, and image contrast dynamics. Thus, we selected special MRI preprocessing and deep learning network to adjust for these limitations. Finally, the results on holdout are similar to those on cross-validation. So we hope our models may be able to generalize to unseen similar datasets. Thank you all for listening and keep safe.